of 2021 are not attending school. The middle class is more likely to be engaged in formal salaried employment compared to low-income classes. In 2021, about 4 out of 5 employed middle-class persons had permanent jobs. The primary source of income for middle-class households are wages and salaries, followed by entrepreneurial activities and overseas remittances, as I mentioned earlier. Overseas workers play a significant role in the income of Filipino families. About 5% of Filipino families have an OFW, and the presence of an OFW, however, varies across income clusters, with high-income families, 9.2% of them, having a much higher rate compared to middle income, 5%, and low income, around 1% of families. However, the majority of families in OFWs belong to the middle class. Middle-class households have higher levels of asset ownership and access to amenities compared to low-income households. In 2021, 98% of middle-class households in urban areas own a mobile phone, 93% own a television, and 46% own a computer. Access to safe drinking water is also much higher among middle-class households. Nearly universal access to electricity, about 99.8% for middle income, compared to 93% for low income and 100% for high income classes. Access to safe drinking water is also much higher for middle class households. The COVID pandemic, however, as I already mentioned, has had a significant impact on the middle class in the country. Many middle-class households have experienced job losses, reduced incomes, and increased education on health and expenditure. The pandemic has highlighted the vulnerability of some middle-class households, particularly those in the lower middle-income segment. So to harness the potential of the middle class as a driver of inclusive growth, we need a strategy not only to expand the middle class sustainably, but also to transform it to a resilient middle class that can withstand welfare risks from mega trends that can further heighten existing inequalities. We thus propose a four-pronged pathway for middle class expansion and transformation towards resiliency. This comprises, first, promoting social justice in natural resource management and climate change, which is crucial for ensuring that the benefits of economic growth are shared equitably. This includes strengthening community-based natural resource management frameworks, investing in sustainable livelihood and value chain development for resource-dependent communities, mainstreaming climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction in local development planning and budgeting, developing a just transition plan for workers and communities affected by the shift towards a low-carbon economy. Second, harnessing new opportunities in trade and investments for